All right, so let's get real for a second. For the longest time, my life was basically a collection of receipts for rent payments. You know the drill. Every first of the month, a huge chunk of your paycheck just vanishes into this black hole. And what do you have to show for it? A landlord who takes 3 weeks to fix a leaky faucet, and a neighbor who decides to learn the drums at 2 a.m. every single night. I was living the classic 20-something dream, or, the slightly less glamorous version of it. My apartment was cute, but it was small. Like, my kitchen is also my office, is also my living room small. I couldn't paint the walls, I couldn't get a dog, I couldn't even hang a picture frame without a sense of impending doom about losing my security deposit. And I just hit a wall. I woke up one day and thought, I'm done. I'm tired of paying someone else's mortgage. I want my own place. It sounds so simple, right? Just decide to buy a house. I had this vision in my head, probably from watching way too many home renovation shows. I'd casually browse some listings, find a charming little place with good bones, put in an offer, and by the weekend, I'd be picking out paint swatches. Oh, my sweet, naive summer child. The reality was so much different. This wasn't a journey, it was an odyssey, an epic saga of hope, heartbreak, and an unbelievable amount of paperwork. This is the story of how I went from a perpetual renter to an actual, real-life homeowner. Phase 1. The financial freakout. First things first. Money. The big, scary M word. I knew I needed a down payment, but the numbers you see online are just abstract. They don't feel real until you look at your own bank account and realize that your savings are basically just enough to cover a few fancy brunches and a new pair of sneakers. So, the great savings mission began. I became a hermit. My friends would be like, hey, want to go out? And I'd be like, can't. I'm saving for light fixtures that I don't own yet. I cut subscriptions I forgot I even had. I learned to cook, like for real cook, not just microwave stuff. Every dollar I saved felt like a victory. But the down payment was only the beginning. Then came the credit score. This mystical 3-digit number that apparently dictates your entire future. I spent weeks obsessively checking it, treating it like a Tamagotchi, trying to feed it with on-time payments and low credit card balances, hoping it would grow strong. Then came the pre-approval process. This is when you go to a lender, spill your entire financial soul onto their desk, and they decide if you're worthy of a loan. It's basically like the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter. You're sitting there, sweating as they go through your bank statements, your pay stubs, your entire life history, and then you get that letter. That beautiful, glorious pre-approval letter. Holding it felt like I had a golden ticket. I was ready. I was officially a serious buyer. Or so I thought. Phase 2. The digital deep dive. With my pre-approval in hand, I dove headfirst into the world of Zillow, Redfin, and every other real estate app known to man. This, my friends, is a dangerous, dangerous rabbit hole. It starts innocently. You're just looking, just browsing. Then you're checking new listings at 10 p.m., then at midnight, then at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep. You start having opinions on houses you'll never see in person. Oh, I don't like the backsplash in that one. The curb appeal on this place is a solid 4 out of 10. The thing about online listings is that they are the catfish of the real world. The pictures are always taken by a professional photographer who knows all the angles. They use a wide-angle lens that makes a closet look like a grand ballroom. The lighting is perfect, the virtual staging is immaculate. You fall in love with these digital versions of homes. You start planning your life in them. Okay, the couch will go there, my work from home setup will be in that sunny corner. And then you see them in person. Phase 3. The reality tour. My first weekend of open houses was an experience. The first house I saw, the one that looked like a pristine cottage online, it smelled vaguely of cats and despair. The charming vintage kitchen had appliances from the 1970s that sounded like a jet engine taking off. The cozy bedroom could barely fit a twin bed. It was a wake-up call. I quickly learned the secret language of real estate listings. Fixer-upper means it's about to fall down. Lots of potential means you'll need to bulldoze it and start over. Quaint means it's tiny. Unique layout means it makes absolutely no sense. I saw it all. The house with the shag carpet on the bathroom walls. The house with a creepy unfinished basement that looked like the set of a horror movie. The house that was perfect in every way except for the fact that it was literally 5 feet away from a roaring freeway. I started to get discouraged. Every weekend was the same cycle. Get your hopes up, drive all over town, walk through a series of disappointing houses, and go home feeling defeated, smelling like a weird mix of potpourri and old socks. I was getting burnt out. The market was insane. Houses would be listed on a Thursday, have an open house on Saturday, swarming with people, and be accepting offers by Sunday night. It was a feeding frenzy. And then it happened. I found it. The one. It was perfect. The right size, the right neighborhood, a backyard that I could actually imagine a dog running around in. My heart did a little flutter. I walked through and I could just see my life there. This was it. Phase 4. The bidding war bloodbath. We put in an offer, a strong offer, over the asking price. I wrote a heartfelt letter to the sellers about how much I loved their home and how I'd take good care of their garden gnomes. I was convinced it was a done deal. And then we got the call. They received 15 offers, my agent said. 15? Our offer wasn't even in the top 5. I was crushed. It felt like a breakup. I had emotionally moved into that house and now it was gone. I wanted to quit. I was ready to just sign another year-long lease and give up on the whole dream. But my agent, bless her soul, gave me a pep talk. She said, this is the game. You get knocked down, you get back up. So we did. We went back to the drawing board. We looked at more houses. Some were okay, some were a definite no. The magic was gone. I was just going through the motions. And then another house popped up. It wasn't the one that I had lost, but it had its own charm. It was a little smaller, needed a little more work, but it had this warm, welcoming vibe. I was hesitant to get my hopes up again, but we decided to go for it. We put in another offer, even more aggressive this time. We waived some contingencies, which is terrifying, by the way. It's like buying a used car without ever turning it on. The wait was agonizing. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped into my throat. I was a nervous wreck. And then the call came. I answered, bracing for bad news. You got it, my agent said. I was silent for a second. Wait, for real? For real. They accepted your offer. Congratulations, you're getting a house. I literally just broke down and cried. Not sad tears, but this overwhelming tidal wave of relief and joy and sheer disbelief. After all the searching, the saving, the stress, the heartbreak, it was actually happening.
The final boss, closing. Getting your offer accepted feels like the finish line, but it's not. It's just the beginning of the final boss battle, escrow. This is a 30-day period where a million things happen behind the scenes. There's the inspection, where a guy comes and pokes around your new house, making a list of everything that's wrong with it. It's a very humbling experience. Then there's the appraisal, where the bank sends someone to make sure the house is actually worth what you're paying for it. And the paperwork. Oh, the paperwork. I signed more documents in that month than I have in my entire life. My hand was cramping. I was signing papers I didn't understand, just trusting the professionals guiding me. The whole time, you're just holding your breath, praying that nothing goes wrong, that the inspection doesn't reveal a fatal flaw, that the appraisal comes in right, that your loan gets final approval. Finally, closing day arrived. I sat at a big table in a sterile office, and a very nice lady walked me through a mountain of paper. I just kept signing my name over and over. It felt completely surreal. At the end of it all, she smiled, pushed a small set of keys across the table, and said, "They're all yours." I walked out of that office in a daze. I drove to the house, my house, and stood at the front door. My hand was shaking as I put the key in the lock. It turned, the door opened, I stepped inside. It was empty and quiet. The sunlight was streaming through the windows, dust motes dancing in the air. It echoed when I walked. And it was all mine. Every scuffed floorboard, every outdated light fixture, every single square inch. It was mine. The journey was absolutely insane. It was way harder, more expensive, and more emotionally draining than I ever could have imagined. But standing there in my very own home, I can tell you 100%, it was worth it. Every single second. So that's the story. It was a wild ride, and this is really just the beginning. Now comes the fun part, turning this empty house into a home. We're talking paint, furniture, DIY projects, probably a few mistakes, and a whole lot of learning along the way. If you're into that kind of thing, if you want to see the transformation, or if you're just a little bit nosy and want to see how it all turns out, I'd love for you to come along for the ride. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Viana Home family. We're just getting started.